Hi everyone, my name is Rima and I teach Art Fundamentals at Visual Arts Brampton. And in today's lesson, we're going to see how to create rhythm by adding patterns to the negative space in our drawing. Patterns are any designs that repeats itself. And this is an example of some patterns that I sometimes use in my drawings. And this is what we're going to work on today. So let's start. What you're going to need first is your sketchbook or a loose sheet of paper, your pencil, and a pen or a marker or some other art pen that you have, whatever you like to work with. Okay, so let's start by creating some squares. We're going to make 9 small squares to practice our patterning, and we're going to create a different pattern in each of these squares. We're going to use a variety of shapes, geometric shapes or organic shapes. It's really up to you. You get to decide what goes in each square. The only thing to remember is that each square has to be different. So let's start. Let's say I'll use maybe some dots in this one and maybe make it a bit more interesting by coloring some of the dots or coloring all of the dots. So that will be my first pattern. And my second pattern, I'll do maybe some stripes. And in this one, maybe I'll use some diagonal lines and create a slightly more elaborate pattern. You can color in some parts of it. And maybe add another feature to this pattern. Okay. Let's move on and try to create slightly more interesting patterns. Okay, now that all my squares are done, I'm going to use these to help me be inspired for my design. I'm going to make a frame for my design to kind of contain the drawing and not make it too large. And then I'm going to draw a silhouette or an outline of an object or a person, an animal, a food. You can even use the first letter of your name if you want, your initial. Just remember that we're doing an outline, so that's something that I could do, or maybe an apple, and I'm just going to do the outline here, or even a cartoon bird might do that. Okay, so I can choose anything that I want. I just want to create the outline, so it's a silhouette or an outline. Let's say I'm going to maybe draw maybe a pear. Let's do a pear with a little stem. So let's talk about negative space and positive space. Negative space is whatever is surrounding your object, which means your object is the positive space. And what we're going to do is we're going to treat the positive space as something we're not going to touch today, but we're going to focus on the negative space and see if we can create some interest and some rhythm by adding patterns. To do that, I'm going to make sections in the background, and the more sections that I make, the easier it's going to be for me to add patterns. Now, your lines don't have to be curvy. You can make straight lines like this. I just like to make some curvy lines myself. So try to divide your background into many different sections, so you have a chance to add as many different patterns as you can. Once you're happy with your design, take your marker and go over your outline. Okay, so now that I have all my sections, I'm going to use my eraser to take away some of the extra pencil lines, just to make my design a little neater. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my design one more time. This is my positive space, and I'm not going to touch it for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each different section with a different pattern, and I'm going to use my practice patterns for inspiration. Okay, just remember to make a different pattern in each different section. So you can start anywhere you want, and you can use any pattern you want. Okay, now that I'm done with my negative space patterns and I see that I've created a lot of rhythm, a lot of movement in the background, I can decide if I want to keep my positive space blank or if I want to color it. This is an example of another drawing with negative space and positive space that I have done, and I decided that I could use some markers just to create a bit more interest. I can also use a coloring pencil to kind of shade in my drawing if I want, just to make it maybe a bit more interesting to look at. So it's really up to you. You can use coloring pencils, you can use markers, or you can just leave your drawing just blank, plain, or color it in black if you want. It's really up to you. So that's it. This is our project with negative space and positive space, and where we created rhythm and movement with patterning. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.